Hey Channel Insiders, welcome to Partner POV, your source for untapped opportunities and unfiltered opinions in the IT channel to help you make better business decisions. I'm your host, Katie Bavoso, and I am so excited to be here for the very first episode of Channel Insider Partner POV. To help me kick things off today, I'll be speaking with Marcial Velez, CEO of Xperteks, a managed service provider with more than 2 decades of experience under its belt. Welcome, Marcial. Great to see you.
Great to see you, Katie. Thank you so much for having me here.
I am so grateful for you to be here. First show for Channel Insider Partner POV, and you're my very first partner giving me the POV, so I'm excited to have you on board. And thank you for helping to break the seal here.
Hey, listen, I love to be in the first mover, so thank you so much for the opportunity, for sure.
You got it. You got it. What I want to know first, let's make sure that we break the ice talking about who you are, what Xperteks is, and what you do. So why don't you give me a little history on Xperteks and who do you serve? What primarily is your mission?
Sure. So Xperteks is a computer consulting company that I founded in 2001. It started really just being a consulting firm doing break-fix work. Since I was prior to founding the company, I was basically like a digital fireman in the 90s, and I was doing break-fix work for system integrators. But then when we started using new technologies that allowed me to manage clients on a monthly basis and bring tools in to do it, then I founded Xperteks, and we kind of started from there. So Xperteks is a pure play managed service provider. And what we really tried to do early on at the dawn before all these remote tools were out there and all these different things were out there, we were trying to make sure we can manage these clients in a way that we didn't have to go on site. That was the primary thing, because before then we were in New York City, and it was literally, we were just grabbing our backpacks, grabbing whatever tools that we had and parts, and running around up and down New York City trying to figure out things as we kind of went along. There was none of this that we had today, where we had to, you can research, you can connect remotely, you can try to fix things. So there was a lot that we had to do to kind of figure out how to manage these clients and do it in an effective way. And lo and behold, a few years into it, I founded it in 2001, and lo and behold, I'm reading an article about the rise of the MSP, and I was like, oh my God, that's us right here. We're an MSP. So I didn't even, we didn't coin ourselves an MSP from the beginning. I didn't even know what it was. It just made sense to us that instead of running around with our backpacks and our wits, it was easier to just use remote technologies to be able to manage these clients remotely. And we took off from there.
I just love thinking about you and your team running around the city going, go, gadget, backup drive, here we go. So what I love is that you mentioned that you started your business in 2001, but this is such a full circle moment for me, because you had told me your first interview or your first post on the internet, like the first time that Xperteks got out there, was in 2006 when you were quoted in an article for Channel Insider. And the name of this article makes me feel like 2006 was 1991, because it was called Managed Services. Now it works for Macs too, like this alien technology that was the Mac OS. And I just love seeing you in that article, because it's such a pioneer-esque thought process that you had to go through of how do we make sure we're also serving people who are not only on PC, but they're also on the Mac operating systems. What was that like for you back in those early days? And I hate that we're calling them early days, because I was like alive and kicking in 2006 at band practice, like getting excited for the first iPhone. Like, this is not something that was that long ago. But what was it like for you in those early days? And how do you think that set you up for some of the challenges that you see nowadays?
Yeah, so what originally had happened was that we were Apple certified technicians first, and we were rooted in working with Apple networks. And the remote monitoring and management tools that were coming out of those days were geared towards PC. What the difference was is that we were able to take some of those tools, and because it was a Unix type of operating system on the Mac OS, we were able to at least monitor for up and down. And so we were sort of using PC tools to monitor Mac networks. And people said, you can't do that. And we were like, absolutely. They're computers at the end of the day. So we were figuring out how to use these PC, what was considered a PC only type remote management tools on the Apple as well. So once we started doing that, we started understanding how to, and this is one of the key things that, as to like what made us so popular with mixed environments, was because if you had an environment that had both Apple and PC endpoints on that network, we were very versed on doing both, right? And we were like, yeah, we were monitoring and managing Macs for a long time. So when that article kind of came out, it was really kind of like sort of expressing the fact, because remote management and managed services was considered to be a PC only type thing. So when I was they were interviewing us, I was like, no, it's not just, and we had been doing this since 2001, 2002. That's when we started doing it. And all our clients at that time were Apple-based clients. Today, now we have a mixture of both. We're about 50-50, but back in those days, we were just starting to gather up all these different mixed environment type clients. And we were able to use those tools and be able to connect to them and do all the remote management, just like any other the PC competitors that we had out there. So I think it gave us a real competitive advantage back then.
So you've definitely been around the 2 decades that you've been around, the more than 2 decades that Xperteks has been around. You've been around the block. You've seen a lot going on. Then we, of course, had the pandemic in 2020, and I'm sure that kicked up a whole new level of needs for your clients. So since then, we're talking about the last 4 years. What have you seen as far as new challenges, a pattern of new challenges kick up for your clients? How did you try to get ahead and solve those challenges for them?
Well, no, it wasn't even getting in front of it. It was, we had already had the experience to do it. Because of the pandemic, we all went to a remote world. And for years, we were already managing networks remotely, while others were still doing traditional, on-site, on-prem, desk side support, right? So when the pandemic hit, they were like, hey, we can't get to our offices. We can't connect it. How do you do this? So helping them through it, it was because of our experience of being able to do it is why we were able to run so quickly. And we were able to move everyone over to the cloud as fast as we could, migrate them over, because we had been planning this for a long time. I think what the pandemic did was accelerate the need to be able to do it, because nobody was like, yeah, we'll put it in next year's budget, or there's no real rush to go to the cloud. But once everybody needed to go remote, you needed to have that done. So because of our experience of already doing it for that last, at least 10 years, 10, 15 years already of being able to do it, we just hit the ground running, and we were able to, take our clients all the way to the cloud, and also be able to now onboard new clients, right, onto the cloud, who were saying, hey, I just have a closet full of lights that I don't even understand what's going on in there. Can you please help us out? How do I move that to a data center? Like, how do we do all this? And so partnering with our clients and now understanding their needs and being able to migrate them to a cloud was a big deal in the past 2 or 3 years. And I think that right now, now people who have, or clients who have really kind of looked at what their needs are and kind of just band-aided to kind of get through, are now starting to think about what their new cloud first strategy is going to be. Because if they consider and be like, hey, you know what, we're going to take our business and we're going to continue to be a hybrid business or remote only business, some of them are coming back, but others are remaining that way. How do you deal with your IT infrastructure? How do you deal with moving forward so you are ready to move forward with your business and try to scale up? So I think that's the conversation that's happening right now.
Definitely. So cloud first strategy and how to scale up from there. Is there anything going on right now in your customer base where you see like the next problem simmering, whether that be they're trying to get on top of a trend, or they're asking you questions about AI that maybe we don't want to answer because they shouldn't be thinking about it too much? Is there anything that they're asking you right now where you're seeing, I see this becoming something that in 2024 we're going to be talking a lot about?
Well, right now, everybody's still talking about cybersecurity, right?
Yeah.
But now they're talking about cybersecurity in a very different way. And the reason why is, prior to this, it was, if you don't get your cybersecurity in check, or if you don't have your business secured and something happens, there's going to be, 60% of businesses go out of business within a year. And that messaging kind of was been going on for quite some time. I think what's happening right now is that now people are starting to realize that regulations are starting and compliance is starting to come down the pipe, whether it be CMMC, CIS. There are different regulations that are coming out. Insurance is now coming in and really starting to ask really deep technical questions about how you're doing how you're running your business and how you're securing the data that's going along with your business, right? So now what's changing is that now clients are starting to ask for, hey, can you make sure that we are compliant with this cybersecurity framework or another cybersecurity framework? So for example, like if it was CIS or a CMMC, because I'm doing work with the government, I need to be CMMC compliant, or they want to be ISO 27001 compliant. And so now MSPs are perfectly positioned to be able to help them sort of get compliant to that compliance, because they don't want to be sort of the weak link in the supply chain, because now they're starting to look at the entire supply chain and saying to themselves, hey, if you want to be a customer, you want to do business with us, and you want to be part of this entire supply chain, you need to have a certain cybersecurity standard. And to get to that standard, they're going to base it on a specific cybersecurity framework. So that's kind of where I think it's heading right now.
That's interesting because you talk about compliance and regulations, and that affects all of us, whether we're the MSP or the client business. How does that impact how you decide who you partner with as a customer? Is there anything that you keep in mind that they have to come on board with, whether it be we need to see that you've been meeting certain standards before I hitch my wagon to your business? Does that impact you at all?
Oh, 100%, right? Because at the end of the day, we don't want to be digital janitors, right? We don't want to be the company that is just there to clean up things because you failed to adhere to a certain cybersecurity standard, or you decided that this wasn't in your budget. What we're looking for in terms of clients are clients who put technology first, who really respect the fact that technology is a driving force in their business. And because they do that, then they're willing to make those investments to make sure that they can work with other companies, right? The other part of it is because we are definitely looking for clients that are growth orientated, right? We're not looking for stagnant type of clients, right? So we're looking for clients who have a vision, who want to grow, because as an MSP, we're symbiotic to them, right? And what I mean by that is we're looking to support more and more employees as they grow. So we've had several different instances where we have startup companies or companies that start out with, maybe like 10 employees, 15 employees, and have grown to 50, 80, 100, even 200 employees. And sort of that growth has a lot of IT infrastructure impact, right? And being able to grow very smoothly and not be the sort of cog in the wheel that breaks down when they're starting to do that rapid growth, because we want to sort of realize the vision with them. So what we look at is making sure that we partner with our clients, and we want to take that journey with them as they start to grow their company.
So I want to hear a success story. I want to hear give me the characters, really build the plot for me, go through the entire Middle Earth sort of setting. I want to hear it. Has there been in recent years, has there been a success story with a client that you can name or get close to naming that you would really like to brag about?
There's so many stories in different areas. So in managed IT, I would say that the best story I have is with this real estate company that we work with. A person that just became chief technology officer for this real estate company sort of came on board, saw the growth potential in there, and said, how am I going to keep up, right? How am I going to keep up with adding so many people to it, and the logistics of being able to onboard and provide the help desk services and to just do the desk side support and network management, all of that. He had to either hire somebody, train them, and put them all together. It was just so much. He didn't have the time to kind of scale up that fast. So when he approached us and he said, hey, listen, I have an issue. I just became a CTO of this company. They're a growth oriented company. I have so many other things that I need to think about. How can you help us? And by the way, we also have Apple computers as well. Is that something that you can help us with? And I was like, absolutely. Like Apple is like where we kind of grew up from. So we started there, and we started working with them, and they were at 80 or so computers at the time. So we onboarded them, set them up, sort of set up the foundation to be able to work with them. And we started really working closely with them in terms of like their onboarding process to try to streamline all the different things, connect them to Apple Business Manager, do the zero touch deployments that we were able to do. And sure enough, they grew from 80 users to upwards of now they're about 630 users in the course of about 2 years.
Oh my goodness.
So you can't even imagine how fast it was going. It was just a matter of us being able to order computers, making sure that they got to them, making sure that they put in their credentials, that all their applications were set up, and then rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. They were doing something like 10 or 20 computers a week. I mean, it was insane, the rapid rate. At the same time, we're managing other clients as well. So you can imagine how quickly that was going. So in the managed IT side of things, that was probably what our biggest success story. They're still a client today, and they absolutely love us. In terms of cybersecurity, the story there is that we had a financial services firm who managed billions of dollars. I mean, they were really, really just super, super paranoid about everything. And so we were like, we have you. We literally gave them the platinum plan, everything that we had in our arsenal, our entire tech stack, MDR, EDR, everything, right? And as we start implementing all these things, because you can't really just implement them all at once, but we started implementing them slowly and surely. Sure enough, they actually had a small breach. And we got them with their, literally a hacker right on their server, and we caught them with their hands in the cookie jar, by the way.
Ooh.
We were able to shut down their access, right? And now this automatically launches this entire investigation, because imagine this is a company that's managing billions of dollars. So they were really, really sort of like, what happened? How could this have happened? How could they have even come so close? And at the end of the day, it was because the way that we layered our cybersecurity strategy was what caught them. And we were literally just one thing away from them getting in, and which was making sure that they had multi-factor authentication on their firewall VPN. So multi-factor, guys, make sure you guys do it. Okay, so at the end of the day, they were super happy. We were exonerated. I was super nervous. It's kind of my Halloween story, where it was almost like a horror story. But at the end of the day, we were able to make it happen. The third thing is really sort of the cloud first strategy, right? And so in the cloud, it's really just we had a client that basically was running their own server. They had a 24 operation. It was a financial services firm. They had it on-prem. Everyone was connecting to it and doing a version of remote desktop sort of. But the problem is that they were really remoting in from across the country and across the globe, right? And this is a 24 operation. The latency on it was super slow, and they needed to grow, and they were growing fast, and they were adding more employees. And the more the employees came on, the slower the infrastructure got. So when we implemented a cloud first strategy for them, we moved them entirely over to Microsoft Azure, gave them Azure virtual desktops, connected all their server workloads up in Azure, and all of a sudden their latency was just super duper fast. And not only that, they were able to acquire another company, and I was able to connect the other employees that had just come up and give them access to all their applications and infrastructure in less than a week. So this was something that was completely new to us in terms of how quickly we can scale, and it gives a testament of how important having a cloud first strategy is. So those are kind of like 3 real success stories in each in different areas that we kind of went along with.
So when it comes to building that trust with customers, not just about from a transactional standpoint with what you do, but what's the secret sauce? How do you build that trust with them? And how do they consider you an extension of their team? And what does that process look like?
It really is just talking to your client and really kind of making it a either if you can do it face to face or by video, but continually, explaining to them what your plans are in terms of what their worries are and how you're going to mitigate it. Because at the end of the day, they're depending on you to let them know, hey, are we okay? Is everything going to be all right? Is my data safe? Right? And so you have to really sort of foster and have that culture of trust. You have to sort of build that together. So you have to speak to them, have them participate. There are some MSPs that sit there and they dictate what it is that they need to do. And I'm just not, to me, it's more about collaboration. It's how you're going to collaborate with your partners. How are you going to connect? How are you going to connect with them and let them know, hey, these are the steps that we're going to take to phase this in. And these are the reasons why. And these are the risks that you will be taking or you'll be taking on. And when do you want to do those risks? Are these risks acceptable risks for you? So we have to kind of make sure that we have that communication there. And then we can talk to our clients and make them feel like, hey, this is something that they feel really good about. And so that's exactly what we've been able to do for the last 20 or so my years. So it's funny when somebody says, hey, are you a cybersecurity company? I'm like, well, no, I'm an MSP, but I've never heard of an MSP who wasn't a security focused MSP. We've been securing networks now forever. It's just now the degrees of cybersecurity have changed.
So I know that Xperteks is vendor agnostic and you pride yourself on that. But are there any vendors or solutions right now, today, in the moment, that you feel supported by as an MSP, and that when you take those to your customers and you're building out solutions, you have a lot of confidence in those? Is there any that you might be comfortable naming?
We have literally so many different strategic partners that we use, and we're very careful as to who we use as our strategic partner because it has to connect with how we're supporting our clients. Because we're supporting clients that are both Apple and PC at the same time, we want to make sure that they have a unified solution. We're not trying to support every single thing. There's so many different products that are out there that do what they do very well, but we need to make sure that we can support and we can stand behind the products that we support at the same time. So, for example, if you look at any of our strategic partners on our website, there's a bunch of them. Those are really key partners of ours that make sure that we have our endpoint protections in place, that we have our MDR in place, that we make sure that we're able to get our cloud software very quickly and be able to access it and be able to deploy them very quickly. And collectively is what makes a solution. So not one single partner is sort of like the end all be all. We like to make sure that we diversify our technology stack and our partnership to make sure that they work well together.
One thing you mentioned earlier that I really want to go back and talk about, you said the difference between an MSP and a digital janitor. For somebody that might be going, what is a digital janitor? Could you define that for me? Who is that person, and how do they move from that sort of pigeonholed expertise into a true MSP business?
Yeah, you really just don't want to be the guy that they call just to fix stuff. Mm-hmm. And that to me is what a digital janitor. Just come in and clean up my windows and make sure my floors are polished and, make sure that, these things are in order. That's a digital janitor. If you're talking about being a true MSP and a partner, you're going to be talking and being very intimate with the processes of how that business works and understand what is important to the management suite, right? Both the CEO, the CFO, the COO, all of them, making sure that they're all working together and they have what they need to make sure that that business grows. So you are now participating in the success of that business, and you're not just behind the scenes, and you're not just there to just fix things. So to me, an MSP, someone who's a little bit more involved, who sort of injects the technology strategy that coincides with the business strategy that the company is going for.
So today, if they were to just change one thing that they were doing, what would you recommend to move from that digital janitor into that MSP trusted partner? If they were to just take one tool or take one suggestion, what should they do?
They need to learn the business of their clients and understand how the process goes and how that business grows and makes money, and be able to make suggestions during the reviews about what that is, to be able to get into the boardroom, no, for lack of a better word, when you're talking to C-level management about what's going on. And also you have to help them understand how to mitigate risk, because that really is sort of what people don't understand, mostly, like how much risk there is, whether it be to the company reputation, whether it be all of a sudden their company data that might be like, what is the impact to the business, and how does regulation and insurance kind of play into it. So you're trying to anticipate all these problems and create that plan and have them understand how you can help them fit your strategy into their business plan. And that really is what you should be strive for. So anytime you're talking to your clients about it, don't try to just be like, hey, we just fixed this stuff, these things are okay, we're all good, is there anything else that we can help you with? That's all well and good, but that's being a digital janitor. Be proactive, sort of inject other business strategies into it. Hey, listen, this is what I heard about what's going on within your business sector. These are the different technologies that are happening right now. This is what other companies in your area are doing, and they're using these applications to achieve XYZ result. And how are you achieving those results today? Change the conversation from being a technology conversation to a business conversation, and then use technology to be able to sort of access those results and be able to give them the results that they're looking for. So this way, now you're not just looked at as that digital janitor, but a strategic partner for them.
Are there any nurture methodologies that you're using when it comes to your client base? Is anything helping you, whether it be a physical application or software or agency, that's helping you be able to nurture the relationships with your clients?
Yeah, definitely use some type of automation marketing tool to your clients. Something that you're communicating what's new, what's going on to them on a consistent basis, as well as being able to automate the fact that you can connect with them for that technology business review. So that's happening. Don't just wait and say, okay, I'm going to just check off. Have a way to automate it, that it's happening on a consistent basis. Consistency is the key to making sure that you are talking to your clients and you're present, right? Because if everything is working so well and everything is and nothing is going wrong, and you're really doing such a great job, they'll never see you. And if they don't see you, how can you become a partner for them? You're just going to be a digital janitor, right? So at the end of the day, you have to consistently figure out ways to continue the conversation and be able to talk to them about what's going on. Technology changes all the time, and there's so many new things to talk about. Like, you can have that AI conversation if you want. You can have all what's going on with new tools or new automations that are happening, talking about process automation. There's so many things to talk about. So at least figure out, hey, what's going on with you? Like, how the kids, how's the family, how's everything else? Build that relationship with them, because at the end of the day, this business is about relationships. We're just providing the technology for them to make sure that they continue to run their lives using their business, right? So at the end of the day, it really is just about partnership.
And looking forward in 2024, we're just starting out. We're in the first month right now. What are you focusing on? What opportunities are you focused on? And what is Xperteks focused on as we move forward into the year?
Oh, so much. 2024 is so exciting. So exciting. I can't even tell you. Working in vCISO services, helping clients understand how to design security programs so they can connect with their regulations, or connect actually with the compliance to different regulations is a big thing right now. Helping clients understand what a cloud first strategy is. That really is a big thing, because a lot of companies they go, yeah, I've been in the cloud for a long time. I've had Microsoft 365 for now 4 or 5 years. I'm in the cloud. That's not really in the cloud. You have your email in the cloud. You have certain things in the cloud. You're not completely 100% in the cloud just yet. You have your first step in, and you're on your way there, but you're not really just there yet. And understand what the benefits are of having a cloud first strategy really is. So that to me is now we're kind of in that era where we went from educating companies of what an MSP was to really understanding, hey, what can an MSP do for you in terms of solidifying your cloud first strategy, right? So that is really a big step. So that 2024 is huge like that. And also the biggest thing also is partnerships with other MSPs. Now that we're in a realm where I have clients all over the country right now, making sure that I partner with other MSPs to be able to offer all types of different services. And I have so many MSP friends. What's up, guys? Like I know so many of them who have like actually helped us grow, and we can all grow together because at the end of the day, and there was an MSP that, really kind of, that I loved that what he's talked about. He said that, we were sort of the unsung backbone, right, during the pandemic, where we were there making sure that businesses kept going, right? And so making sure that we continue to do that and continue to work together to do that, I think that you're going to see a lot of MSPs kind of come together and cross-sell and upsell with each other to make sure that they can uplift the entire community. If you're an MSP or you get out there, go out to these different networking events, understand who your peers are, and learn from each other. I've learned so much from my peers of what to do and what not to do. So make sure you get out there. And so I'm always around. You can find me at all these different events. If I see you there, I look forward to seeing you there and forward to learning more about you and how you're doing with your business.
And from an IT buyer standpoint, where can they learn more if they'd like to get to know more about Xperteks?
Oh, absolutely. Come to my website. I put so much more information on it. So xperteks.com for sure. Go there. I put up what a cloud first strategy is, how you make sure that you have a good way to understand who a real good managed IT services provider is. And also, what are some foundational things in cybersecurity? Definitely check out my website. I have a lot of information, but at the end of the day, if you ever want to talk, just call us, book a discovery call with us, and I'd be happy to learn more about you and your business.
Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today, Marcial. It's been such a pleasure getting to speak with you. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of Channel Insider Partner POV. If you'd like to check out more episodes and content we post every week on channelinsider.com. And if you're a solutions provider in the IT channel and you want to come on the show, you can email me at partnerpov@channelinsider.com. Once again, I'm Katie Bavoso, and I'll see you next time.